Mai Ishikawa Sutton is the editor of this magazine. This magazine is called Compost. That's for Commons Post. So let's get Mai to talk about it.
Hello, my name is Mai Ishikawa Sutton, co-founder and lead editor of Compost magazine. I really wish I could be there with you all today in Delhi. Instead, I'm recording this message from my home in Los Angeles, California for a Jashari to play for you at this event. So what is Compost? Short for Commons Post, it is a magazine that publishes text and multimedia works that explore the web as a digital commons. Compost is a project to manifest a small corner of the web that invites creative expression built with care and mutual support. Our process aims to metabolize and renew our relationships with the web by publishing works that are approachable, intimate, and grounded in research and lived experience. Our work is grounded in a curiosity about the interrelatedness of the digital, technological, earthly, and human. Compost was founded together with Distributed Press, a project to build beginner-friendly, open-source publishing tools for the World Wide Web and decentralized web. Compost is the creative lab and testing ground to try out these tools for publishing that aims to put more control over publishing in the hands of writers, artists, journalists, and organizers. As sister projects, they complement and influence each other as they work in tandem to build a healthier, more distributed digital commons. I feel it's incredibly appropriate that this third issue is the first time we have had in-person release events around the world, in London and in Manor Hamilton, a small town in Ireland, and later this summer in Los Angeles when I organize one here in my home. Water Bodies is about paying attention to the physical, material nature of digital networks. And what better way to celebrate that by gathering people together in person to discuss shared infrastructure that we rely on for our lives and livelihoods, that is water and the internet. To continue, I'm going to read an excerpt from our foreword of issue 2 to explain the theme of our third issue. We're interested in lifting the veil of the saturated metaphors often used to describe the web and instead commit to examining the materiality of our networks. Seemingly innocuous terms like the cloud are deployed to refer to what in practice are mass networks of corporate-controlled servers. How does the language readily available to us obfuscate the true cost of using and rely on the infrastructure of global capitalism? What might shift when we choose to pay attention to the actual substance that constitutes our digital networks? When we do, what cycles of domination, dehumanization, and ecological neglect can we finally break free from? For this third issue of Compost, we turn to our relationships with and acknowledge ourselves as water bodies. Sourced from lakes, rivers, and oceans, water cools the data centers that store the bits of data that I'm reading here. It's boiled into steam, then turns turbines for the electricity that powers your device, the router it connects to, and every whirring, beating part of the network that brings you these words. This page that I'm reading from is brought to you by millions of liters of water as droughts, contamination, and rising sea levels continue to creep us towards a boiling point of human and non-human suffering. Water Bodies interweaves tales of early trade networks, histories of water management, and examinations of network infrastructure and community organizing in the face of the climate crisis. The story of a young Taita man, captured and enslaved on the Kenyan coast, explores water as a site of ritual and of violence. Puka, the trickster figure in Irish mythology, welcomes us into a consideration of the relationship between water, technology, and the emergence of the nation-state. The folklore of the Waterschappen in the Netherlands asks us to examine the emotional and spiritual dimensions of managing a commons. In a near future in Tanjung Priok, the irreparable violence of the Dutch Empire's rule becomes clear. Two sentient machines would write letters to each other while trying to save Jakarta, the fastest sinking city in the world. In an interactive game, A Lost Shrimp in the Mediterranean Sea reminds us that state borders are a digital issue and suggests we must get creative about protecting the high seas from greenwashing and the surveillance tech. A piece about environmental DNA investigates community science and the institutional barriers that prevent people from monitoring the health of their own local water systems. We learn, too, about Bengaluru and Gurugram, where ordinary people are working together to restore lakes and curb flooding threatening life in the tech capitals of India. Portal Sem Porteiras, a community network in Mantiqueira, Brazil, takes us on a walk along their local river to meditate on the structuring logic of neoliberalism and private property. Quote, "I don't have answers, even as our waterways bleed dry," writes Olunisi Owosusi in their essay about the role of water in the various components of digital infrastructure that we use every day. Quote, "But I hope that collectively we can move towards ways of working with technology in our world that work with and not against its systems, ways that preserve and build rather than just destroy and erode." End quote. So I will stop there from reading from the foreword, and I'd like you to continue with your event today. But I just wanted to say how much of a pleasure it was to work with Jayashri on her piece. Such an accomplished journalist in her field, and to learn about all of this community organizing that is happening there to restore the waterways. And I'm so thrilled that this event is happening, and Jayashri showed me a photo of the venue, and it just is beautiful. And so just want to emphasize how much I could be there with you today. And thank you so much for Jayashri for organizing this event, and for all of you for being here today. Thank you so, so much.